Hello, welcome back to the channel. This is Heather with Creativity by Heather BE, and today's video is all about the new Brutus Monroe Aqua Pigment colors. I used the three of the colors to create this fall background, and the Aqua Pigment colors, they work on all mediums, and they come with a dropper bottle, a full 1 ounce. There are 13 colors total. To get the most vivid colors, you want to use them straight out of the bottle, or you can use water, which is what we're going to do today. So I'm going to be using brown, orange, and yellow today. And I'm also going to be using the Hello Fall from the Scarecrow set, which is a new release from Brutus Monroe, and also the awesome Golden Gourd embossing powder, which is the October embossing powder of the month. I'm also going to be using one of the stitch tags to put on the front of the card. So what I'm doing today is a technique with watercoloring where I'm actually going to put 4 or 5 drops of Clorox bleach into the water. This is just regular household bleach. That's regular, just tap water in the cup. And I just used an eyedropper and dropped about 4 to 5 drops in the water. And I'm going to mix that up really, really well. So once I get it mixed up, what I'm going to do is brush a very heavy coat of that bleach water on the paper, and I am using the Canson watercolor paper. And what I'm doing here is the lids on the Aqua Pigment colors are child-proof, which is great, but adults can get them open for those of us that struggle with that sometimes. So I was getting those open, and now I'm just very generously brushing the bleach water onto this paper. I probably should have taped it down because you'll see here in a moment I'm going to have to use my finger to kind of hold it down when I start adding the ink. But it curled up a little bit. You can tape it down to like a cutting board, something like that if you would like. So what's really cool about this, adding the bleach, is when you start to drop the droplets, and it's going to be hard to see with the yellow. I probably shouldn't have started with yellow because it's so light. But it kind of forms almost like a little eyeball, and you'll see when I do the orange next. And the colors will kind of blend together, and you can see there how you kind of have that in the center, and then they spread out. And so I'm just dropping the colors. I'm going to drop the orange and then go in and drop some more of the brown, and then go back in and fill in the areas. And you can see how it kind of spider webs out. You get it. You don't keep that dark spot there. You can see it again. It kind of flows out, as you can see in the orange one. But this really does give a really cool effect, and it doesn't hurt your brushes. If you're doing any additional watercoloring, I would suggest using a different brush. Keep this one to the bleach water. But it's a really cool, easy technique. And bleach is inexpensive. It's something most of us have in our homes. And it's very simple. It does not take very much at all. So there you can see I'm just going back in and adding some of the yellow. And these Aqua Pigments, they're so awesome. The colors that you get, you can see I have some in the tray over there where I've put some in the tray. And I have done this technique by dropping the colors with a paintbrush on, and it doesn't work as well. So having the dropper in the Aqua Pigment bottle really helps with this technique, because you can drop it from above and just kind of let it spread out. It does give a great color when you use it with the paintbrush, but using the droppers seem to work a little bit better. So you can see we're getting this gorgeous fall background, and I'm going to be very careful to pick it up because that paper was so wet. I don't want my colors to start to run. I want them to stay exactly how they are. So there is our panel dry, and you can see how absolutely beautiful those pigments are. These Aqua Pigment colors are gorgeous. There are 12 and I believe 13 now. So I cut a tag using the Brown Butter cardstock, and I'm going to be using the Hello Fall sentiment from that Scarecrow set. So I'm using my MISTI just to position this. I had not used this stamp yet, so I wanted to use my MISTI just to make sure if I didn't get a really good stamping with the embossing ink that I could do it again. You could definitely use an acrylic block. This does not require a stamp positioning tool. So I'm using my Brutus Monroe clear embossing ink and just pushing that down to make sure I get a really clean impression. And I'm going to use the Golden Gourd. This stuff is so pretty. It looks like pumpkin pie spice. Doesn't it look like you find it in your pantry? It's so gorgeous. And this is the October embossing powder. So if you want this color, I will link below on how to go in and get it. If there are any left, they are usually released the following month or a couple months later, but not everyone is guaranteed to be released. The only way to guarantee that you're going to get this color is if you sign up for the embossing club. It's $8 a month, and you also get an additional discount off of everyday purchases, and I will link to a video above that uses the embossing powder and has more information about the embossing club. So I'm heat setting the powder, and you can see it turns into like a gorgeous gold kind of brownish color. It's really, really pretty. Has a lot of shine to it. I love the Brutus Monroe embossing powders, and if you've been at my channel, you know, love them. So I decided to take a piece of orange ribbon, and this is actually from the October kit. I believe it's called Bountiful Harvest. You get a ribbon in it every month, and the ribbons that I don't use, I keep those, and I end up using them on other card projects. I am going to take a piece of fun foam because I wanted the tag to have some dimension on our panel. I wanted this card to be simple. I didn't want to cover up a lot of the panel, so I just decided to use the tag. I thought about just heat embossing directly onto the panel, but I decided I wanted some type of variation between the background and the sentiment. So what I did is I just used regular Scotch tape and taped the ribbon to the back. And now I'm using the Brutus Monroe craft glue and putting that all over the back of the foam, and then I'm just going to pull that over and glue it down. And you could do this the opposite way too. You could glue your tag first and then pull your ribbon to the back. I just thought this was an easier way for me to do it. So I wanted to add a little bit of shine to this. It seemed a little flat. So I am using the Lilac Lane Metallic Mix for the sequins, and it's just some really dark browns and golds, and then there's a couple oranges that I'm using from another set, and I can't remember, that might be Lucy Cards, maybe the orange ones. I'll link that down below for you. And I'm using my jewel picker to just put a very small drop of glue and then adding my sequins in. And I am using the Nuvo glue here, and the only reason I'm using it is because it had a thinner top than the craft glue, and I just wanted something that would be smaller on that brown cardstock. And there's the finished card. So simple. I encourage you to try this using the aqua pigments, the watercolors. It is so addicting. You will be making panels for days. I've got so many that I've created that I'm going to use for Christmas cards and upcoming cards and videos. So there's so much fun to play with. I hope that you'll check them out. Thank you so much and have a great day.